Can you still see Allie's face? Because it's going to be true.
Yeah.
Frank, can you see her face even though both of those lights are lit back?
I think we could make a nice shot here. I think we can both shot out.
Yeah, it could be easier. Hey, Allie, do you want deputy chair.
I know it's kind of cramped.
Yeah. So we just have to.
Uhuru come in, Sister Fia is going to do Western snipes.
Uhuru!
Uhuru comrades, we just received word that Comrade Afia Mwangaza is going to be heading out, and we just want to salute her for making it out today. I'm really grateful to be joined by the powerful organizer. Uhuru Afia. Yes. Salute to Afia Mwangaza.
Uhuru! Probably. I don't know, but there's not. Yeah, no, just I think that.
Uhuru. Thank you to the Vine Cafe for providing that amazing lunch today. And thank you to ODC and the RLP team for that incredible workshop earlier. It's so exciting and looking forward to all these projects and continue to build. So now I'm honored to introduce APSC Secretary General Allison Haney and APSC member Ruby Gittleson, who are going to have a panel on how to join the African People's Solidarity Committee. Uhuru.
Not one day.
Not one dime!
Not one day.
Not one dime!
Hands up, Uhuru.
Hands off Africa!
Hands up, Uhuru.
Hands off Africa!
Reparations
Now!
No compromise.
No surrender!
Great. Unity through
Reparations!
Uhuru. Thank you so much. Indigo, Comrade Indigo, who is one of our newest members of the African People's Solidarity Committee. Ruby and I are up here today right now, and we really appreciate the time in this incredible convention of Unite the Uhuru Solidarity Movement to call on you, everybody here and online, to know that you have the opportunity to seize the time and become a member of the African People's Solidarity Committee. And we're from the national office. Under Chairwoman Penny has his leadership of recruitment and membership. And, you know, we're just so honored to be here today. I mean, this convention has blown my mind. This convention is off the charts. And I mean that because it's like the quality of the comrades, the quality of the organization, the incredible political commitment of everybody here, and the you know, level of your work is phenomenal. And it just makes me, this motivates me to join APSC all over again. Because I want to go to the next level. I want to go all the way with the African People's Socialist Party. I know that you do too. We're here to talk to you about that.
Yeah, it's not picking.
Out by saluting our courageous and brilliant leader, Chairman Omali Yeshitela, who, as we know, has led the struggle to complete the Black Revolution of the 60s. Oh, do we have a slide? Yeah. Next slide. You know, relentlessly fighting for freedom and power in the hands of the African working class and liberation for the African nation for the past 60 years. And the chairman, as we heard, so appreciate that workshop that we heard today on the Uhuru 3, you know, has confronted the United States government, the most so-called powerful entity in the world today, and stared them in the face and stared them down and put the state on trial and kicked the ass of the ruling class and won. And that is so brilliant and inspiring.
Did you say next slide or do I?
Oh, next slide. Yes, you got it.
Oh, okay. Uhuru, we also salute Deputy Chair Onezene Yeshitela, the
Uhuru.
architect of the incredible Black Power Blueprint. And we just heard the latest powerful developments of the Reparations Investment Company, which is a brilliant part of the strategy for African self-determination. And Deputy Chair also is the leader of all the party's economic work and APSC's reparations work. Next slide.
Uhuru. And we also salute our chairwoman, Penny Hess, who we've heard from today so much, and who was at the founding conference of the African People's Solidarity Committee in September 1976, led by the chairman. And as we know, Penny was the first person to articulate African internationalism from the white community and has fought fiercely to bring that understanding into the white world and win, you know, and build a movement of reparations under the party's leadership through overturning cultural violence, which we encourage everybody to get today, and, you know, through millions of presentations and writings. And, you know, Penny has really fought too for the work of reparations in APSC to be scientific and to be accountable and to be institutionalized and to break from the charity politic that we had when APSC was first founded in the early years. Next slide.
We also salute USM Chair Jesse Neville, a powerful leader of the African People's Solidarity Committee and our movement lawyer in training under the chairman's leadership, strategy, and development. And we also salute the USM National Steering Committee and membership. Next slide.
So APSC was formed in 1976, as we said, by Chairman Omali Yeshitela and the African People's Socialist Party as a strategic organization of the party, calling on white people who are part of the colonizer nation to come under the leadership of the African liberation movement and to end our isolation, end the isolation of the African revolution and also end our self-imposed isolation as white people. And APSC's mandate is to go into the white community to win the stand of genuine solidarity and win reparations for the African Revolution led by its vanguard, the African People's Socialist Party. We bring Black power into the colonizer population and being Black power in white face. Being a member of APSC is the highest stand that we can take as white people. And I'm really honored and humbled to be a member of APSC, and I think for 46 years. So that ages me right there. And Comrade Ruby is right behind me. She said Mike. Ruby has been a member for,
Around 45 years.
okay. And just to let you know, Ruby and I go way back. That's why our years of coming into APSC is so similar, because we met on a hippie commune in Tennessee in
1973
three.
or somewhere, one
Yeah,
of those early
we can't
years.
quite remember. But, you know, I came out here because of Prairie Fire, actually, because this guy lived on the farm with us who was in Prairie Fire. So I followed him to San Francisco, started finding out about Marxist study groups and stuff. And luckily, that led to meeting Chairman Amalia Chitella in the first event that you did, Chairman, in San Francisco in 1978. Yep, so February 18th. So.
76, was it?
78, yeah. And then joined APSC the next year. See, they didn't wait long time to ask people to join APSC. We were called on to join APSC right away. I got a letter and I joined APSC. It was the best thing I've ever done.
Right on.
Uhuru.
Next slide.
APSC was founded on Chairman Omali Yeshitela's political theory of African internationalism that explains that the European attack on Africa, the kidnapping of African people and their enslavement on stolen indigenous land, and the continued colonial extraction and domination of the oppressed and exploited peoples of the world has created the wealth and power upon which all white people sit. Next slide.
And as the chairman has clearly defined, this created the worldwide colonial mode of production, which is the system we live in today. This means everything we have and experience as white people comes directly at the expense of African, indigenous, Arab, Asian, and colonized people. This explains the reality of why 1 in 8 people in prison in the world are African men in the US. And why African women and babies in the US die in childbirth in the first year of life 3 times or more than white people. Why the north side of St. Louis looks like Gaza in occupied Palestine. All deliberately created colonial conditions that keep African people dependent and powerless over their own lives and future. And this is why all the vast wealth and resources of Africa go to fuel the European, US, and all colonial economies. Why African people in Sierra Leone live on a cup of rice a day at most, while their diamonds make billions of dollars for Israel, the US, and Europe. All diamonds are blood diamonds, and all resources are blood resources, as the Uhuru movement says. Uhuru. Next slide.
APSC was founded on the party's scientific analysis that solved the problems of the African Revolution of the 1960s. The chairman demands we understand we're not some kind of mutants or devils. We're human beings. We're people like everyone else, and we have to take responsibility for our history and who we are in the world today. Understanding that the relationship of white people to African people is colonial domination, not racism. So the role of white people who want to change this violent relationship must be to unite under the anti-colonial leadership of the African working class and raise reparations as a self-criticism, not undo our racism. Next slide.
Uhuru. I'm not sure about the mutation thing. I think we need to look into that more. It's been hundreds of years and genes do change, so. But anyway, that's for after the revolution. Always had a question about that. I know we're not devils.
Have to call you Ally X.
So APSC, to explain to everybody, is a cadre organization, and we're going to say what that means. It's made up of revolutionary white people, like ourselves, members of the colonizer nation, who've consciously abandoned our allegiance to the ruling class, colonial ruling class and system, and united with the world view of the African working class for the first time in history. APSC has been trained patiently and relentlessly by Chairman Omali Yeshitela and other party leaders for decades, forged through fire, to become a disciplined, revolutionary, anti-colonial organization working under the party's leadership and accountable in everything that we do to the party's National Central Committee through democratic centralism. It took at least 8 years, I think Chairman has said, to win APSC to fully unite with African internationalism, internalize it as our own. APSC adopts the party's will as our will and unites to go all the way to victory and beyond, and to carry out anything we're called on to do by the party and by the period. Cadre means frame in French, I believe, and the frame is the frame upon which the revolution rests. Cadre means to lead, and the party cadre lead, as we see and know from working under the party's leadership. And APSC calls on all comrades here and online to step up from being powerful leaders in Uhuru Solidarity Movement to become leaders in APSC. Leading means to take full responsibility to bring everything we have access to as white people that's been stolen from African people to build the party, which is our leadership, building our future. It's in our interest. We have a full stake in the development of all fronts, and we're all in to win the people and resources under the party's leadership. Next slide.
The basis of all of our work is material solidarity, winning resources from the white community as reparations to turn over to the African Revolution, leading the African working class to achieve political and economic state power in their own hands. As an important part of our reparations work, many APSC cadre are honored to work in the office of Deputy Chair Onazane Yeshitela in many capacities. We work directly under DC Ona's powerful and brilliant leadership to build institutions, open up new funding sources like grants and property acquisitions, and, like the Reparations Investment Company, and directly go to the white community to get donations. Deputy Chair Ona created the Black Power Blueprint, the African Independence Workforce Program, the NTU Volunteer Program, new businesses like Enzo, Uhuru on the Move, Uhuru Bakery and Cafe, and so much more. She struggles relentlessly to build an independent African economy and fights fiercely with any and all who try to obstruct this trajectory. Next slide.
In this historic period that we've been hearing about in this convention of the intensifying decline of the colonial world system, the African People's Socialist Party is winning tremendous victories, building and leading the anti-colonial worldwide movement. The party is the only revolutionary organization in the world that is building a new model of production, dual power, which is contending with and defeating the colonial mode of production. As Chairman Omali Yeshitela shows us, this is a critical place in history, and APSC has to rise up and grow and build and influence hundreds of thousands of colonizers worldwide, and join this movement and become anti-colonial fighters for reparations in solidarity with the party and African liberation. We want to seize this time and really build. And as the chairman says, hesitation is betrayal. Uhuru.
Next slide. The anti-colonial struggle is the driving force of history, and the chairman and the party are leading the anti-colonial struggle worldwide. The chairman has thrown a lifeline to settlers, giving us a way out and a way to truly rectify our relationship to African and all colonized people, and to end our self-imposed isolation from humanity. We have to show others that it's not enough to be distressed. We have to be part of changing history. If we stand in solidarity with the liberation for Palestine, for indigenous people, for Mexican people, if we want the economic blockade of Cuba to be lifted, we need to join the African People's Solidarity Committee. The U.S. government has proven the party's strategy to create APSC to be correct. They showed that to attack the chairman and the party, they also had to attack APSC in an attempt to stop the growing unity from the white population with reparations and principled solidarity with the anti-colonial movement led by the party. But the chairman has forged this stance of solidarity, and it will never be broken. As Che said, we share the same fate, whether in victory or in death.
Right.
Next slide.
And, you know, we just want to say it's the greatest honor of our life to be a member of the African People's Solidarity Committee, and it's the greatest use of our life.
Yes.
What else would I be doing? I can't imagine. It wouldn't be worth anything, you know? And anyway, you know, we all know that, you know, that this is the place we want to be. And to be in APSC, we also feel so strongly how the organization strengthens us and that we strengthen the organization. It's dialectical because every person makes a huge difference and carries weight and builds, and we are strengthened also by being in the organization. So many USM members, as we've seen, you know, the last couple of days, do profound work. Building and recruiting and raising reparations and building this organization. But just imagine, it can have much more impact when it's in the organization under the party's direct leadership. And, you know, you know, you can bring your creativity and skills directly into the strategy and leadership of the party, and participate in the organization that is leading the solidarity movement. So, it's also an easy process. We just want to say it's not difficult to become a member of APSC. It's a commitment, definitely, and it's a leap in your growth, in our growth. But it's easy. There's a form right here, and it's online. You can go directly to apscuhuru.org/join, and we have the forms right in the back that Hallie has on a clipboard right there. She's waving them. And you know, you can sign up to join, and then we will be in touch with you right away, and we will start to bring you through the process. It's a beautiful process that the party has instituted for how to bring people into APSC and the party, and it's a 6-month probationary process where you are led through an incredible study and work process where you grow politically and you learn how to do the work in a stronger way. And your sponsor, you know, is your mentor for that whole process. And we often do them collectively because it's really, you know, much more exciting and interesting and stimulating to do it together with other comrades coming into APSC. And, you know, I just want to put forward our newest members of APSC, Dylan and Indigo. And say they didn't take a long time to come into APSC. We took a long time to understand what it meant, but that's been forged. It's in place. It's ready, and you know you can join. Dylan and Indigo, would you like to come up for a second and just say why you wanted to join APSC and what it's been like?
You're saying our time is up.
That's all right.
Okay.
All right, Uhuru, comrades.
Uhuru?
Uhuru.
Well, as has been said, what else would I do with my life? I really, I had to think about it a lot before applying. I knew I was going to, but I had to think about how I wanted to approach being a real cadre, because you can't just be a cadre.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be a cadre.
Yeah.
It's really up to your actions and your stance, your principled stance, and the best way is to support the African and Indigenous liberation, the whole movement and the whole struggle, the whole fight.
Uhuru.
Thank you, SGI. I just want to read a section from this book, which I highly recommend you get if you don't have it.
What is it?
It's called An Uneasy Equilibrium. The African Revolution versus Parasitic Capitalism. And this section was really profound for me. And I think, it really illustrates the key points of what we're working with here today and what this conference has been all about. This is a quote from Jose Jaffe from History of Africa. So this is it says it makes an important contribution to a materialist explanation for the emergence and behavior of Europe, or the quote white man, declaring, Europe was born out of colonialism as the exploiting, oppressing, negating pole that tried to always destroy and assimilate its opposite pole, the rest of the world. It was out of this process that the very idea of a European man arose, an idea that did not exist even in etymology before the 17th century. Before the slave trade in Africa, there was neither a Europe nor a European. Finally, with the European arose the myth of European superiority and separate existence as a special species or race. There arose indeed the myth of race in general, unknown to mankind before. Even the word did not exist before the lingua franca of the Crusades. The particular myth that there was a creature called a European, which implied from the beginning a quote white man, colonialism, especially in Africa, created the concept and ideology of race. Before capitalist colonialism, and I think now we would say probably colonial capitalism, there were no races, but now, suddenly and increasingly, there were races. Once born, the myth grew into a reality. So I can't express enough how much appreciation I feel and have for the party and for all the leadership that APSC has provided. I think there's so many ways that it's affecting the culture and really the whole world, everywhere beyond our imagination. But it's also material. It's making a massive difference, and we are contributing to ending oppression. We want to end oppression once and for all. Yes. And that's the goal. So we intend to achieve that. That's why I'm here.
Right on.
And you can be like Dylan and Indigo. We want you to join Chairwoman Penny Hess, USM Chair Jesse Neville, and all the powerful APSC cadres, and answer the call from the African People's Socialist Party to take this powerful next step, the courageous stand against colonialism, and join all of humanity in this critical, fast-moving period. And as Che said, as Ali just quoted, share the same fate as the African Revolution and create an example to show other white people the way forward to fight this system and win. Uhuru. And just one question, what is your highest inspiration with your one life? And who wants to join APSC today?
Right. Anybody want to put themselves forward right now, or say that you're thinking about it, you'd like to consider it, and want to talk to us more about it?
Uhuru. Excellent.
All right. Anybody else? Because there's so many comrades in here who we want to have come into APSC. All right, well, we're going to talk with you. And Uhuru. So, just come and talk to us in the back, and we will answer any of your questions about it and, talk to you more. Next slide. We just want to, before we leave, we're just going to announce some events that are coming up that we want to invite people to come to. Wednesday, March 19th, I believe that's this Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Central. We want you to join APSC for an online study and discussion of Chairman Omali Yeshitela's political overview from the beginning of 2025. The Chairman's report prepares us for organizing white solidarity with the African Revolution in this important period. And you can register to get on your Zoom get your Zoom link at apscuhuru.org/study. One more event, next slide. So on Wednesday, the 26th, the following week, at 6:30 Central Time, join APSC for our March event. where we discuss violence against women, colonialism, and the case of Desi Woods, who fought back against colonial violence, and the party waged a historic campaign to free Desi Woods and smash colonial violence. This event will feature presentations by APSC Chairwoman Penny Hess and the African National Women's Organization President, Yejide Oronmila. It takes place in person at the Uhuru Solidarity Center and online as well, and you can register at apscuhuru.org/register. And we just want to, where's the quotes? Well, I don't see them, but we wanted to end with some chants, and I have one for Trump's Africana friends. And how does it start?
One settler,
One bullet. Go ahead.
a settler,
Bullet, bullet.
settler.
Bullet, bullet. Uhuru.
Unity for all.
Reparation.
White solidarity with
Black power.
Uhuru.
Thank
you so much, SG Alley and Ruby. Just the commitment you've made to be the African People's Solidarity Committee, taking up the call of the party to join, and just all you've done to forge that struggle of like, what do white people do, under this system to overturn it. Before we go forward, we did just want to do a little shout out to a comrade who traveled from Portland, Maine. TT is joining us, who's a brilliant artist. We just want to give you appreciation for joining us this weekend in person. Thank you so much. And it's almost time for our tour. So I would like to invite up the Deputy Chair of the African People's Socialist Party, Onozene Eshitela, who is also the President of the nonprofit African People's Education and Defense Fund and leads the Black Power Blueprint. Deputy Chair Onozene also heads up over 50 economic institutions of the Uhuru movement and also responsible for designing this beautiful Uhuru house we're in. Give it up for Deputy Chair.
So yesterday I gave a presentation of all the economic work that we have acquired here in St. Louis. And today you want to see some of that work. I know that it's not snowing yet, right? But it's pretty cold outside. So what we want to do is we want to line up, and we're going to go outside to the properties next door. And then Mr. Gary's house, we want to go there because we got a special unveiling to do there. And then because it's so cold, we want to get in the cars and we want to drive down West Florissant so we can see some of the entities that we talked about on yesterday. And we'll go to the fourplex where the African Independent Workforce Program is being housed, where there are 4 apartments named after African political prisoners. You'll see the transformation in there, and you'll also see the basketball court. Then we will get into our cars, and then we'll drive down West Florissant, and you'll get to see the property where we're gonna put the African Uhuru Wakalia, which is the Women's Center. And you'll also see the new garden at 3901 West Florissant, where we're going to put a state-of-the-art garden complex there. And then we'll go to the bakery, and we'll end at the bakery, and then come back here. So everybody should have a map. I don't know, Stephanie is giving out the map. And the map shows you all the different locations. So the number 1 property, you're sitting in it right now, which is Uhuru House Community Center. And then next door, where we're gonna go, is Karibo Event Space. And then right next to the Karibo Event Space, we're gonna go to Mr. Gary Brooks' house, actually where he actually lived at. And then we have, which is 4029 West Florissant, which is number 4 on your map. And then number 5 is 4007 through 4009 West Florissant, which is, actually where we're gonna put parking spaces at. And then 4001 West Florissant, we'll be driving, so you'll get to see the outside of that. And also 35 to 3945 West Florissant, where we're gonna put the Black Power Square, you'll be able to see that entity. And then we'll go to the 4368, the Black Power Vanguard's basketball court. And then right next to that is the AIWP housing. And then we'll go right on down West Florissant. We'll get back in our cars and go to 3901 West Florissant, which is the Black Power Blueprint Garden. And we'll pass by 3771 West Florissant, where the health center is gonna be, and then we'll make our way to the bakery. And that'll be the end of the tour for this time. All right, so I just want to really appreciate this convention. I want to salute all the people who were involved in making this happen. It was great. We were talking about it all last night, and today was just as great as yesterday. And I just want to say, I was sent here in 2017 by the chairman, and when I got here, it was no one here. And I can always remember the chairman saying to, he's always talking in meetings how he said he would send K-Fiend in ahead of himself, so K-Fiend can scope out, find out what's going on the ground and stuff. So I kind of felt like that person, when I was sent here. And since 2017, we've built all these things that you see now and more. There's a lot of things that are on this paper that we did not put on here, but we've been on the ground since 2017. And with the economic work, but we've been here since 2014, since the murder of Mike Brown on August 9th, 2014. So, I'm very, very excited to have everybody come see the work that we've done, and just even launching, the reparation investment company. We've been doing this work already. Me and Kitty was on the ground when nobody was doing this. We were doing this. So we know we can do it. And with the help of USM and the Reparation Legacy Project, we're gonna take it on and we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna bring those resources back to this community and just make it thrive again, especially on this West Florissant corridor. It's gonna be amazing. So, Jesse, I don't know, okay. So, so we need to, you want to organize cars, people to drive.
Yes, so actually I want to see if a logistics person can come up here, James or Hallie. James? I'm staying back. Okay.
Organize some cars?
Yeah, just to get everybody together. So we're gonna start with a walk across the street.
Right, we're gonna walk across the street to the garden, and then we go right next to the garden is Mr. Gary's actual house, the house that he actually lived in. So we own that property now, and we'll go inside and we'll look at that and we'll do an unveiling of what that property is gonna be, and then we'll come back here and get into cars and we'll just drive down. So people can, that's why we printed out the maps as well, so you can drive down and we can see the different properties that we have. And maybe what we can do, if I have people from my office here, maybe one person can get into a car where somebody else, so we can just explain where we're going.
Yeah, that sounds good. So can we just get a quick show of hands for people who have cars here? Okay. Can't do that quick math, but I think we can make this.
Seems like it would be enough.
We can map people up, yeah. Okay. So I think once we get out there, and then we can assign people to different cars. So. All right.
So can people grab the coat? I don't know. I haven't been outside. I know Jesse said earlier.
I heard it's warming up out there.
Oh, it is. Okay.
It's windy.
It's windy.
It feels really good in the sun, and then
We're about to find out.
Yeah,
so
you'll feel what it's like.
45 degrees.
It feels good, like when you step out the door, and then it feels the wind, and it's pretty quick.
Oh my goodness.
Like the more you talk about what you see, the better. Yeah, it's just.
Somebody have a bullhorn? There's supposed to be a bullhorn there.
You're not supposed to. I'm coming from Minneapolis.
Okay, I think we got a bullhorn here.
Oh,
Oh, they close it.
Uhuru. Okay, so on this property were two abandoned commercial buildings that we tore down. And we made this whole outdoor venue, as you can see, where people can actually rent this out. We can have concerts, we can have weddings, anniversaries, anything we want outside here. And we also, I'll let Kim tell you about the garden.
Uhuru, thank you so much, Deputy Chair, and I really salute your leadership and the chairman's leadership, the vision of transforming this entire community. And as the chairman and deputy chair say, you just don't know what it looked like before you got here. And we're standing right here looking at a Uhuru truck. We're on the move. We got a 50-foot flagpole. I think red, black, and green dominates North St. Louis, and it does from the moment that went in. But this was truly a desperate, extraordinarily oppressed place, what they give to the African community. And as someone from the colonizer nation, it was shocking, even though I've been raised in urban areas in my life, it was really shocking to be here. And the two buildings Deputy Chair was speaking of was Hicks Bait Shop, and the other was Dynasty Restaurant that once existed right here and here. But they were left to rot, as everyone has summed up. And one time, Deputy Chair and I kind of snuck inside of one of them. And I mean, it was like broken baby carriage, diaper, sleeping. People crawled inside these buildings to sleep, to get out of the weather. That's why you didn't see this huge homeless population on the streets. They were in all these decayed, rotten buildings to get some shelter. So this is profound transformation. And the man who lived in this house was Mr. Gary.
Right here, right here.
And you see him in the mural. And in fact, he would sit on this little bench outside and tell Deputy Chair and I stories that across the street was a boxing gym where Leon Spinks and his brother trained. And it was like a wall, whatever. Everybody that we met being on this avenue told us of what used to be here. And it's just almost hard to believe. So, and like the chair.
All right. So the mural, we interviewed like 15 different artists for the mural. And we actually chose Jamie, the artist, who's from Birmingham, Alabama. And we gave her a vision of what we wanted. And I mean, if you can see, we have Mr. Gary on the left. We have actually Kinge in the middle. Abdul is in the purple. I'm not sure who she painted for the back, but you can see Africa at the center, so if we know everything, all the resources come from Africa. And this is what we wanted to portray in this beautiful mural that she created.
And Mr. Gary inspired the garden. And in fact, he had a little garden in one of these little lots. And, a dying river birch tree. I mean, we've dragged trees out of here. Just unbelievable what's underneath the ground, as people have spoken of, is just concrete, like cities are underground. Because when these buildings were taken down, either 30 years ago for the one back there and the one next to Mr. Gary's, and the two that we took down, they leave a lot of that concrete and they leave everything but wood, because wood will decay and then land will sink. It's down there. So they try to put that flagpole up and really never got those last 5 inches. It's a huge thing. because there's so much cement. So here's Mr. Gary. He built these planter boxes during COVID. Him and his friends and neighbors built them. And yeah, therefore you see all the tulip bulbs coming up now. Okay, so we planted them. And so we have 9 vegetable boxes, but we give at least 1,000 pounds of food. At least 1,000 pounds of food is harvested for the community in incredible weekly booths during season that Sayali Leanda headed up. And we do harvesting every Friday. We have the free food Friday giveaways booth, you know, which is so incredible because these are really organic vegetables. It's organic soil. So we have collard greens, green cabbage, purple cabbage, okra, grows like crazy, all kinds of cucumbers, bush beans, tomatoes, large tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, kale, squashes. So, you know, we just got a really fabulous selection of food, all kinds of peppers, sweet peppers, hot peppers, etc. And then we have herbs, and you know, you think of the common herbs that you really want to have: sage and thyme and rosemary, and so on. So we have mints and herbs. And
Also, Hallie, our own Hallie, led the volunteers in the workday to design the outside of the garden boxes. Did a tremendous job.
Yes. Good. And the stage was built by the same contractors. They built the stage, then the African designs went on the stage. And
Come on this way, kid.
Permeable paper, which no one's step on the floor. That was laid.
Okay, thank you.
And then we got a rain garden. Putting a rain garden. Currently, the Mighty Mighty Grants team got a grant that gave us the ability to irrigate the 9 boxes, which we used to can water, you know, three times a week at least. And now we have the irrigation system. Volunteers built the shed, other volunteers painted the shed. And there was money left over from the irrigation, so we put it towards the rain garden, which looks so dead now in winter, but it is gorgeous when it's blooming. And to think that you see butterflies, bees, pollinating the neighborhood is very inspiring and very, very beautiful when things are in bloom. So I hope to see you in July when you come for the Fire Solidarity Month, a week of activity. And you'll see the garden in bloom. There's a peach tree Mr. Gary planted, and an apple tree that he planted, and Shakura planted a little cherry tree back there.
And of course, we don't want to leave out the 50-foot flagpole and the 25 feet red, black, and green flag that flies every day.
Awesome.
Isn't she beautiful?
Awesome.
And we did some North County reparations by getting this wrought iron fence.
Yes.
Many pieces that 5 vehicles brought from North County.
Let me just say about the fence. Kitty was like so adamant. We're gonna get a beautiful fence. We gotta get a beautiful fence. And she looked and she looked and she found the perfect one. You know, the beauty of it is it was a very expensive fence, but she talked the guy down. We had to haul it ourselves here, but it was worth it. It just really set everything off. You know, the beauty of the African working class, and everything that we do at first class in the Uhuru movement. And you can tell about, you know, the Quabba Hall and then the outdoor venue.
Awesome. Awesome. Let me just say it in terms of that flag. When we first put that flag up, when we first put that flag up, I think the next day, in the night, somebody came and stole it, took the flag.
Yes.
And I'm convinced it was the state. But what happened was that the brothers, right here in the community, some of them living under difficult circumstances and making do, they came out, they did a live, and they said, you know, that this flag, nobody touches this flag people came up and actually told us that now nobody's going to touch that flag, and nobody's touched that flag, and it's been a few years since that happened, you know. Yeah. The people would stop buses.
Yes.
With school children would stop right here when that flag went up, and the children and everybody looking at people would stop traffic and get out of their vehicles and take pictures of the flag. That was the impact that this flag had in terms of the revitalization of this community and raising up again the whole pride of an African nation. Uhuru.
Uhuru. Uhuru.
So we're gonna head right next door.
We're going to head next door. And be careful of all the shoots you see. We have daffodils and we have tulips coming up. And another thing is that around the flagpole, we always have gorgeous red tulips. They're starting to sprout up.
Temple. Tim wasn't really that tiny, was he?
Huh?
Be some tulips around the flagpole as well.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's beautiful.
It's really beautiful. In the next couple of months.
Okay.
Uhuru. Come on in. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Okay. Okay, so we're actually in Mr. Gary Brooks' house, where he actually lived, where he actually prepared breakfast for us in the morning time, because we didn't have any heat, didn't have any plumbing, we didn't have any electricity. And Mr. Gary, as I told you on yesterday, passed away on November 24th of 2024. So this is a sacred house for us. And we really want to do right by him by putting something very, very powerful in this house. Awesome. Yeah. So Mr. Gary was a welder by trade. So he had everything rigged. I mean, he had the floor rigged, he had the plumbing rigged, he had everything rigged. He never went by code. So we had to, you saw on some of the pictures how this place looked. We had to clean it out completely, upstairs and downstairs. So we gutted it completely and we ready to go. He had holes all in the floors. We just put this new flooring down so we could start the process of renovation. And I'm just really, when I come in this house, it just reminds me of Mr. Gary all the time. This whole street reminds me of Mr. Gary because he told us many, many stories of how this community looked in the past, and he wanted to see it back like like it was in the late 40s and 50s and 60s. So we are here to make that happen, and yeah. So one of the things that we want to do today is, unveil what this place is going to be. And Charles is going to do that, and the chairman is going to speak to it.
Give me a drum roll, please. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, this is, we've been licensed for this radio station.
Awesome. Awesome.
This is where we're going to put the radio station. We have a capacity to put the studio down here. We'll have the studio down here. We have reception down here and what have you. And there's a great likelihood that among what's going to go upstairs will be like office space.
Awesome.
And also we're going to have a production capacity. That is to say, we'll be doing voiceovers. We'll have a capacity here, for example, have live bands that could do recordings and things like that. So this is what this is going to be. And we, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to have a Black Community Convention here in July. And what was it, the 12th and 13th? And part of what we want to come out of the Black Community Convention is a resolution for the African community to be a part of, support the Black radio station. It's going to be an FM radio station. It's going to be a community station. That is to say, it won't be commercial. And so it's going to rely on support from the community. We're looking to come out of that Black Community Convention with a advisory board station to help to make it successful. It's going to be an extraordinary thing. You're looking at a real Black Power strip that's unfolding here more and more every day.
Awesome.
And so that's what we're going to be looking at. So we're talking about elections, political participation in the world, influence in the world. We got this. We got a huge billboard that we purchased. We got, all of this. What we see here is advertisement for the movement. Everything here is advertisement for the movement, and so this is going to be the radio station.
Right.
And people can look forward to being here. We'll have a radio station that, we'll obviously have like radio personalities. We've got an extraordinary force in St. Petersburg, my brother Eddie. We're talking about Sister Afia, who has a radio station over in, Greenville, South Carolina. And so we're looking at a whole network of radio stations that are Black Power radio stations that right now the headquarters of that is in St. Petersburg, Florida, but we'll be expanding that everywhere. So we take control of our own narrative. We're able to teach the children, able to have the music that we want to hear, we want to play, and this is part of what it's all about. Uhuru.
You can go right out back.
Our back, but we're gonna have to get like an antenna, and we don't think that's going to be problematic. I mean, we might even be able to rent a space on that. What do you call that cell phone thing there, or we can put our own up like we did in St. Petersburg.
Right next to the garden, so we don't know what we can do, a little patio out here. And also we can utilize this backyard space as well, even maybe take the fence down and spread out, next door. We just don't know yet. We're just in the, planning stages, but we look forward to just making this really, really powerful. And people can go upstairs as well. It was a 2-bedroom, dining room, living room, kitchen and bathroom upstairs. If you want to go upstairs and look, demo that upstairs completely, getting ready for either the radio station to take production or for us to lease it out, rent it out to someone as an apartment.
The greater likelihood is that we're going to use it for the station, just in terms of, you got a radio station that, that might be a little problematic. But we got the, we've got a garden here, event space. You can see the significance of having a radio station here. You can have a community out here, and they have the connection between the two of them. So it becomes one space. Uhuru. Yeah.
So if people want to go upstairs, you can.
We can right up these back stairs.
Okay.
And see the future of the upstairs.
All right, Uhuru.
Go ahead.
This is, people want to know and ask the question all the time, well, what will reparations look like? And where would it go? That's so complex. And we've been doing reparations now for I don't know how many years, this is what reparations look like. Hold on.
So follow Kitty. Well, this is like clean. Yeah. This has already had to start. So again, oh yeah. Mom. Yeah. I like it. Yes, it's pretty. Yeah. There's the first thing has what I just don't want anyone to do. Yeah. No, don't go in. Uhuru. So this was Mr. Gary's, farm years, and then he, root renovation in that. It's one of the houses we've been renovating, and it has a new roof. That's the first thing. So we had to always check the roof. It has a new roof. We actually APDF with a vision of being able to put a mural on the side of the building. We actually tuck pointed, a couple of 1,000 square feet of the building before we did the mural. So we would put a mural up there and then, it needed tuck pointing. Yeah. Oh, tuck pointing is. Tuck point, you're not from St. Louis.
No idea what you mean.
What it means, you can grind out the old grout in between each brick and then put the new grout in. Because it strengthens the brick. The brick is your wall, right?
Yeah.
The brick is your wall.
You need it.
And yeah, you need it because the brick is the structure. So you have to do periodic tuck pointing, and sometimes you spot point, but it's pretty expensive. But we, in terms of when you're, but you got to do it and own the house all those years. And then his best friend was leaving to him in trust. He was leaving it to some dishonest things by someone else that then moved their family in here, put him in assisted living. And we tried to fight in every way we could, but that's what happened. So we visited him for the last 2 or 3 years. We come to every One Africa, One Nation market, and the work days always happened in the garden then. We always remained a part of the movement. And also, he also taught me everything, every year, what to plant, where to plant, how to rotate it. He was typical of Africans raised, in any kind of country, they are growing food. That's what I call old school, what they call urban farmers, but it was every African family, and they canned food and they bought half a hog and froze it. And, you know what I mean? And he really knew how to grow food and to cook. And his vision was to have cooking classes, to teach the children how to cook, do a cookbook. I mean, we're carrying that on in this period because another grant won by our Mighty Mighty Grants team, the latest grant, is the one that is based on expanding the Gary Brooks Community Garden to a new site, to an additional site, real urban, all growing. And so, but it'll give us the opportunity to build a greenhouse in the one we saw, to start vertical planting, have a greenhouse, get permeable pavers for underneath the greenhouse, and things like that we'll be doing this year.
That's amazing.
As well as the planting. That's it. So, I mean, it's not gonna take much, really. This is gonna be somewhat cosmetic to finish this. This is really in good shape now. That's the one really damaged, piece. We're not.
Renovation work Kitty has done under the chair's leadership. Thank you very much. This is looking good.
And we already did all the wiring. So we have a new panel in the basement just for the furnace. And then we have a panel up here for lights and everything. We've got the other main panel for the commercial space, the recording studio. So we've done all the wiring. Yeah.
Was the pole furnace or something? What kind of?
This is.
Okay.
You think about that way? It's okay, it's just all the more yours.
I actually.
I believe we are moving on.
Okay, let's go. You go out either way.
It is.
Yeah. I just wanted to say the thing that I left out, the most important thing I left out, the most important thing that I left out during this discussion around the radio station was the role that was played by Sandy Thompson. Sandy was central. She was central to getting this radio station. In fact, she fought to make sure we got the radio station. She had to fight some people in the movement. We're going to get the radio station. When she said, no, we're having too much, Sandra said, okay. And then she whispered to me, look, here's what we got to do. and we made the radio station happen. And also, I have to say that AFIA, while not directly involved in this project, AFIA has a radio station in South Carolina, and she had experience and was helping for us to get the first radio station that's in St. Petersburg, Florida. Of course, Sandra was the pilot there also, and AFIA helped with some of the navigation. But I just want to say, what an important role that this company played. Uhuru.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to cars and we're gonna drive straight up. And I'm hoping that one person from my office can accompany at least one car so they can, stop and show you until we get to the fourplex. And then we'll get out and go into the beautiful fourplex. You're gonna be blown away by that. And you'll see the basketball court right next to it. So we're gonna stop now and then we'll ride. Start back up again.
All right, Uhuru, we're getting into the car now for the next part.
There's like a dozen people that have parked.
So on the live, just so you guys know, we're on a live tour. Yep. So a couple of years ago, we took a bus.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's when you went to Canfield Drive.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, we're on the live stream on the tour for the Black Power Blueprint, just letting everybody know. Just saw the new home of the new radio station. That's very exciting. So maybe I will just, do you want to do any narration, or I could just mute us until we get there? Okay, we're gonna mute until we get to our next destination. Do you know where we're going?
Well, the deputy chair wants to show spaces on the way.
I didn't hear.
I have the brochure number.
and come over. The fence around it, which is still up in the storm. This is going to be where the Black Power Square is going. So that's where Black Power Square is going.
Oh, nice, nice.
This is the basketball court,
This is the best. Okay.
and that's the fourplex, and that's the beautiful mural that the artist Jamie did.
Yeah.
So we are going to, I am going to do a U-turn on this street. The children, if you go far enough on the street, you can see there's a basketball hoop in the street. And at one time, it didn't even really have a net. I think it does not have a net, and the kids would be playing there. And then, you know, they're like, we need a basketball court, and the party, and they did different.
It's safe for what?
So the fourplex is this building right next to the basketball court. Somebody's renting this one here. And yeah.
Those may be on the contract.
Say again?
You said these buildings right here may be on the contract?
No, somebody already owns it. They're renovating in private party. They just got it. So yes, this is the basketball court. And you saw the pictures yesterday. Deputy Chair slideshow of the beautiful grand opening that was in the summer of 2023. And yeah. Come on in. Yeah, I know that's right. Okay.
on in, comrade. Yeah, yeah. Uhuru. Uhuru. Just waiting on a couple of more comrades to come up. Uhuru, comrades. So this is our Black Power Vanguard basketball court. Uhuru. So as I stated before, there were two abandoned buildings on this property. We purchased these from the LRA. We demolished these buildings and we built this beautiful, beautiful state-of-the-art basketball court. And of course, we hung the red, black, and green flag on the back of the basketball court. As you can see, you can turn around and show that. So we had to raise $160,000 to make this happen. It took us two and a half years to raise the resources to begin this process. But once we got started, people from all over the world donated. It was a beautiful, beautiful process. And the same person, Jamie the artist, we hired her to put the beautiful, people can see the second mural on the wall, retainer wall. We hired her to do that as well. And she actually moved here to St. Louis with her two beautiful daughters.
Yeah, we put the basketball court here, and despite the warnings that we were getting from some of the naysayers here in the community, I'm talking about Africans now, that if you put a basketball court here, that the black people young people gonna be killing each other, shooting each other, that kind of thing. And then when we said, if we put up the fence, they said, well, now it's gonna be, people are gonna be trapped when they start shooting and killing it. And this is what was being said. And we recognized and stated it, that the fact is that we transform the conditions that the people live in. And the basis for much of the violence that people talk about and promote is liquidated by the changes in the conditions. And people say, well, why you do a basketball court? I mean, you could have built a house, you could have done all these things. Instead of, we built a basketball court because children are playing basketball in the streets, dodging cars when they do that. And the children need to be able to see the future. They need to be able to visualize something more than hoops tied on something like bicycle rims where they play basketball. That's why we do it. And it was really important that this happened. And if you see the little sign out there and you look in this place now, the place is kept clean by the people. The people keep it clean. We don't even have to do anything. And on one occasion, I think somebody came up with a bicycle. And one of the young people, a youngster, said, hey, you can't be with the bicycle. And they took the bicycle out. They take care of it themselves. It's their basketball court. And that's the reality. Change the conditions and get the people involved in changing the world. And people become change themselves as a part of that process. So this thing is very, very important. Right now.
So one of the things is this material is called sport court. And so when we started this process, everybody just thought it was going to be, concrete, but this sport court protects, the ankles, the feet, and the knees of the kids that are, and adults that are playing on this
court. Come on in, brother.
So, like we said, it's a state-of-the-art basketball court. People come from all over to see it. And you see now the city is trying to open up basketball courts now that we've done this. But we couldn't get the mayor to come here and even, come to the grand opening. come to the groundbreaking, she would not come. But the community came out and supported this, and this is the results.
But one of the problems they had was that everything we succeeded in doing demonstrated what they were not doing.
Right.
And so our success made a negative statement about their existence and whatever. So that was one of the reasons they had a problem with us.
Right.
This brother here came and shoot some.
So what? Thank you. So what we're gonna do is go right next door to the African independent workforce housing.
No. Nothing.
Are you in the?
People that are coming out of colonial prison. All the furniture that you see came from our furniture store. Come on in, comrades. Everything you see came from our store in Philadelphia, except for the sofas. And I found all the sofas online at the Facebook Marketplace. Come on in.
Too late, yeah.
Come on in.
Oh Lord, how you been? So good to see you. I can't believe it. You been all right? Good to see you.
So like I said, there are 4 different apartments. 2 apartments downstairs will house 4 men. And we put the men downstairs because they would be the first defense if anything go on for the women that would be upstairs. So this is the first apartment here. Come on in, everybody.
That's the political line that's been developed. It's justified. Damn best. Basic. You see what I'm talking about? You get upstairs.
So each apartment have a living room, a dining room, a kitchen, a bathroom, and a bedroom that has 2 beds in it. So like I said, all the furniture came from Uhuru Furniture in Philadelphia. And each apartment has a beautiful Enzo piece of furniture that was designed from our Enzo design company that we have within APDF. So we're really, really excited about that. So just come on through, and all the appliances were donated by JD Chef for all the apartments. So every apartment has a refrigerator, a stove. They also gave us resources for a washer and dryer that is downstairs, and also the HVAC system as well. So come on through, everybody. Look how beautiful everything is. I don't know if you can see everything online, but.
Can I just say this?
Sure, baby.
Here, everywhere we've got Mufindi Lake.
Right.
We named the entire thing for Mufindi Lake, right? Who was a political prisoner who ended up dying in prison. And then over here, every one of the apartments is named for a political prisoner. So down here, there's Matula Shakur.
Right.
And it's really important because they treat these Africans like meat. They're supposed to be forgotten. You're never supposed to remember them anymore. And so we've got this place here dedicated to these brothers and sisters who've gone to prison, who gave their lives for the struggle of African people. They will be remembered. Every time an African passes here, they're going to see it. And anytime anybody comes here, they're going to recognize these comrades. So I just wanted to say that. Yes. Yes.
So come on through. This is the kitchen. Somebody in there? Oh, okay. And this the bedroom that will house 2 people. Really cute. So these are 2 beds. All the bedding is new. We wanted to buy all the bedding new. We didn't want to take any chance on any kind of bed bugs or anything like that. But all the other furniture came from Uhuru Furniture and Collectibles in Philadelphia. The curtains came from IKEA. Oh, yes. So we're gonna go to the next apartment. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
nice.
Huh?
It's so nice.
It's so close. They make me wanna move them one.
More hardwood floors.
So we're gonna go right out this door and we're gonna go into the next apartment. Uh-oh, no, we're not. Who got the key to the apartment? So downstairs, and we have the basement downstairs. We have a washer and dryer for everybody that can, that house here, they can wash their clothes. We have TVs in each unit. We're gonna have computers for them to also come. So, right. Okay, so this is the bedroom here. Very nice, all new bedding.
Awesome.
Huh?
Lovely. It's absolutely lovely. Yeah.
Bathroom here. Right here is the bathroom, kitchen. Here's a beautiful Enzo piece from our Enzo Designs from the furniture store. And here is the dining room. And then here is the living room. And here's another beautiful Enzo piece here. And we have the pillows to match.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Our beautiful Enzo dresser.
Good.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So like I said, downstairs, here, the 2 apartments here are for the guys. Upstairs is for the women, so we're gonna go upstairs to the women's. Come on in, guys, if you haven't been in.
Talk about Subiata.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Chairman do that. Is the chairman anywhere around?
It's like Thursday.
Just to say, this building, the plumbing was built on the basement whole. The heating in New Age, the AC. Yes. Now, everything.
Is this name for one name for Sundiata, right?
Right behind
Yeah.
you.
Right behind you.
Yeah, he was and he's still alive. He's not well. He spent 50 some odd years in prison. He was with Assata when Assata Shakur was captured on the New Jersey Turnpike. I think it was it 1972, 72 or 73. And they stopped the car. They were looking for Assata. Assata was from the Black Liberation Army, so was Sundiata. And she was considered the heart of the Black Liberation Army. She was an extraordinary woman. And when they stopped the car that they were riding in, Sundiata and Assata were out of the car, and they shot Assata with her hands up. They shot her. And Sundiata got in a tussle, got in a fight with the cops right there on the highway. I don't remember if one or more of them was killed or not, but Sundiata ended up taking Assata, putting her in the car, and they drove off on the interstate. And she was wounded badly. And so he pulled over at some junction and took her out of the car and then lay her, like on the side so people could see her so that she could be rescued. And then he dipped, and they got Asada. They imprisoned her. They put her in a men's prison first. You understand? And but she survived. And that's one thing I really appreciated about the Black Liberation Army forces. They did not believe in staying in prison. I mean, they kept some of them for like 50 or more years, but they did not believe in staying in prison. And so they had Asada in prison. I forgot, maybe a couple of years or something, and then one day she left. And the next time you heard of Asada, she was in Cuba. The first statement, she made a statement, and it started off with Uhuru. That was Asada, and she was in the wind. But she was an extraordinary woman. And Sundiata, I would visit Sundiata regularly. He was first in prison in New Jersey. He was in prison at one juncture in New Jersey, and I would go to see Sundiata in New Jersey, and we were very, very close for a while. And then there was a certain kind of intervention by the state that impacted our relationship. But when he was finally released, I think that I think he was having some problems, with cognitive issues and stuff like that. But he's out now, and yeah, he's out. So that's Sundiata.
So we're gonna head upstairs to the Women's Center?
Yeah. He was a member of the Black Panther Party. And then when the split happened in the Black Panther Party, he became part of the Black Liberation Army, and along with Asada and some more people, Uhuru. So you're going up to see.
This one makes sense.
We're here, so we're gonna be awesome. No, we don't, but we're having a tour today, so. This one is Asada. This is named after Asada Shakur. So this apartment is named after her. And as you can see, come on in. Come on in, come on in. Right, exactly. All right. So this is the Asada Shakur apartment. And of course, I call this the red room because of the red couch. And here again, we have a beautiful Enzo piece from Uhuru Furniture and Collectibles. Like I said, we have a piece of Enzo furniture in every apartment. This is the living room, the dining room. And like I said, we have TVs mounted going forward. We also have computers in each apartment for everybody to use. This is the kitchen that you already been through. The bathroom. And the bedroom. And Chairman always say that the women's got the better of the deal, but all the apartments are beautiful. We wanted everything to be beautiful because these, I call them comrades, have been institutionalized for so long. We really want to have a nice space for them to come, relax, and not be stressed about where their next steps are going to be. So let's go over to the green room next door.
Yes.
So here's another women's room here. Like I said, all the bedding are new.
There's no plaques, these.
Yeah, it's in the living room.
In the living room.
Yeah,
And then the curtains are from IKEA. And the rugs I got off of Marketplace. With bathroom, kitchen, and like I said, all the appliances were donated from JD Chef, who donated all the appliances that are brand new. Here is the dining room. And what I love about this apartment is that you can overlook the basketball court. You can see right outside the window, the basketball court. So which is really, really special.
Yeah.
And here, I got this off of Marketplace for like $250. Here's another Enzo design, a rug that I got off Marketplace for like $30. And all the rest of the furniture is from the furniture store, Uhuru Furniture Store in Philadelphia. And each apartment upstairs has a balcony that they can walk out and actually see the African flag at the Uhuru House. So it's really, really beautiful.
And yes, this is the location for the hapless women. Defenseless women.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
This is Desi.
Yeah, Desi. Sister Desi. I said that was an extraordinary woman. Desi, her name was Desi X Woods when we met her, and in Georgia. And you know, she had been kidnapped, and her and a friend had been kidnapped, and by this guy, Ronnie, what was his last name? Horn. Yeah, and he was going to rape him. He got on the car phone with his brothers and said, "This is what we're going to do." And Desi fought him for the gun and killed him, shot him. She said, "Chairman, I took the gun and I pointed at it and I shot. And he turned his head like this. I thought I missed. So I shot him again." She didn't miss either time. So anyway, they tried her in Hawkinsville, Georgia. And it's an extraordinary place. I mean, where they had their own, white people had their own private prisons, jails for black people there, literally, when we went there. And when we went in to organize to spend her, and we organized, and they threatened preachers, and preachers let us use their churches anyway, and they threatened school teachers and things like that, and teachers brought their children out to participate in the demonstrations. And we went to this little housing complex, sort of like housing projects there. And we put on the Isley Brothers Fight the Power. And drew the people out and spoke to them, et cetera. And so it was a real struggle with Desi Woods, and real vicious struggle. And they imprisoned her. And I would visit her in prison. When they locked Desi up, she got out of the prison van in the prison and said, "I'm not staying," and started walking out and whatever. They drugged her, they put on all kinds of stuff, you know, like to kill her out and everything. And so she was tortured for some time there, but she was an extraordinary woman. Ended up, she came to Oakland, California when she finally was released. They ended up naming a street for her in Oakland, you know, so yeah. Desi Woods, Desi X Woods. She had, at the time, she was a member of the Nation of Islam. And at the time, we couldn't get any support from the Nation of Islam because the Muslim woman shouldn't have been out there, you know, et cetera, on her own. So we ended up taking that on, you know. Desi X Woods. One of her children was killed. We held his funeral at the Uhuru House in Oakland. Yeah. She was an extraordinary woman.
So these are the 4 apartments, you know, that we have for African independence workforce housing. And also downstairs in the backyard, we fenced off the back and we have a nice little patio for them to go out and, you know, sit out and eat and do whatever they need to do and watch next door the basketball, you know, kids play basketball. So now we're gonna head down West Florissant, and we're gonna be talking about the different areas that we have, but the last stop would be Uhuru Bakery and Cafe. Uhuru. So we'll head back downstairs.
Yeah.
Wow.
We had the last 2 years.
Wow.
First time. She's at this is my first time. Oh, my third time. Oh.
I have seen her earlier. I'm not sure where she is now.
Yeah. So this piece over here is what they gave me and the chairman for our birthday. Isn't that beautiful? Soon as we get a house. Right here? Yes. Oh, okay. We can go with you? Oh, you're all right. No. Really? Signing my home.
Like this, glass.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, it is.
We'll be full in my car. But don't speak to the others.
Karen.
Yeah, Karen.
And Ruby's
Sarah.
okay. I'll say goodbye. Goodbye to you. So here's some. Picture taking. Yeah, so that's got to be. Grantors, if you collect them from our. In this time.
Okay, so whoever you were riding with, just go ahead and get in your car.
Just waiting for people to get in their cars so we can all caravan.
Right.
There's where the Black Forest Square is going. And now we're gonna turn towards the east here, go across the street. And this lot here that has a banner on it. This, yes, and you'll notice that there's some of this, oh, that's where the fencing came down in the storm in the back. But if you notice, there's some of this kind of temporary fencing around the backside as well. There's a little stretch in the back. This is where the new garden's going.
Okay.
That USDA grant is for, and it will be serving the bakery, which is a couple blocks up. So, and you can see that all this used to be commercial. You know, even the properties that were where the basketball court were, they were commercial properties that came down. This one just burnt down earlier this year. And news came and interviewed Deputy Chair, our president on ZMA, because people in the neighborhood said, you need to go over to the Uhuru house and talk to them. So, some of these properties have just recently been cleared, which is a good thing. People are taking, you know, things are gonna happen because of Black Power Blueprint. And this space right here is where the location for the clinic is. And originally APDF thought it had the whole space, but there's two more lots and somebody else bought those. Okay, this is the church. And this is now a little tiny. I say tiny because the space over at Goodfellow and Natural Bridge is 5,000 square feet. And this is the more bakery cafe that's going to be the starter kitchen in St. Louis. And that's Sally Boyetta, who's the outreach coordinator. And yeah, we're going to talk about the plans. Again, 9 months since we submitted the permit applications. And you can see over here, this is the devastation of the community, these properties right here. This is what the city would leave happen. Right. Let it rot. And even to, you know, even to make a nonprofit wait 9 months to get a permit for a bakery, it's like things start to happen, you know? So part of what APDF has done is made sure the building stays secure, has security system, utilities, etc.
Are we following you in for the tour?
I guess.
We can wait for Deputy Chair.
Welcome to Uhuru Bakery and Cafe.
They can say Ollie?
Yeah.
Waiting on C.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let Ciali, Maureen, and Allison take this on. Take the whole.
Got it.
Right. All right. Thing working? There we go. There we go. There's no button to this, is there?
I think you just.
Earl. Right, Earl. Well, once again, welcome to Uhuru Bakery and Cafe. It's not quite ready yet, but it's gonna be there. It's gonna be open. But this is the building that was purchased back in 2024, January of 2024. And it's taken up until now to actually know that we're going to be getting the permit, you know, coming soon. But you can just imagine these windows are still going to be there, but it's going to be a 10-foot by 20-foot extension out here.
Oh, wow.
So that'll be extra production space for making the pies and whatnot. And then we'll have a beautiful counter on the inside. And let's just go ahead and bring everybody in. So, you know, people can fill in the back and whatnot. Please watch your step.
Be careful here.
Yeah.
Point it out.
And please watch your step. It's walk down that little thing there. So I hope I warmed up pretty good in here for everybody.
You standing here and running place?
Jumping jacks. So, yeah, we'll wait for everybody else to come in.
So you can see the capacity.
Everybody else to come on in. Step right on down. Yep. Everybody else come on in. So as you can see, there are quite a few people up inside here. But this is gonna change. We're gonna even out the floor because we're gonna have an ADA bathroom over here. You know, so we'll have wheelchair access for anybody who needs to use the restroom. We'll have a beautiful counter sitting around here that Paul Kessler has built, and we're gonna be, installing it on site, putting it together on site when the building is ready. But as you can see, this is the space that we're working with. We got the kitchen area in the back. Some things are gonna change back here. But this is pretty much the rendering for the inside. We're gonna have an extension where we're gonna keep those windows in place. So anybody eating here can look in and see us making the pies and whatnot. And that would be our additional production space that'll be in here. So as you see, nobody will be entering this way, but out the front door. The front door will be the access way. Again, we're gonna have the bakery prep. We're going to have the dining area. Now, we can imagine what kind of seats are gonna be in here, but we can fit a few people inside, and there will be seating outside as well. As you can see, we got plenty of parking space. And like I said, this is where the 88 bathroom is gonna be, right in this area here. And of course, the kitchen's in the back. So this rendering here might be just a little bit different, but you can get the gist of it. We can have seating all around down that way. But again, it's been months and months and months of battling, the city and battling the neighborhood association and just battling folks that did not want to see real economic development happening here on the north side. And the African People's Education and Defense Fund has fought since its inception to come in place and to be of service to the African working class here in the north side. So once we get that permit in hand,
Everything gonna move.
that's right, everything's gonna move. And yes.
Little brother, I saw you come out with your basketball and you didn't stay long. What happened? Well, why didn't you stay long? I mean, you just came out to shoot a couple and that was it? Do you use the basketball court much? We, in the process of doing this work, there was a hearing and people from the neighborhood association said that people don't use that basketball court. What you think? I mean, the basketball court is used by people there, right? Yeah. What's your name? Demarion. Say it again. Demarion. Okay. Why you want to talk, Demarion? Yeah, I just think it was really important. I was glad to see you out there, in the cold. And because we've seen, right in the same area that youngsters playing basketball in the streets, the hoop out there in the streets. And we felt like the Black community, young people deserve better than that, Don't you think so? If we hadn't done it, you would have done it yourself, right? Sooner or later.
So, Earl, I want to thank.
Oh, I just wanted to say real quick also, this is an integral economic development institution also because we're going to have the African Independent Workforce Program that works through this process of training and bring giving jobs to folks. That's what the neighborhood association, that's what the city wants to not have happen. It ain't working out like that.
And he's responsible for, pop-ups, helping, so many relationships. It's really powerful. And I'm the director of Uhuru Foods under the leadership of Women's and Nation Tell. So yeah, this was the battle. It still is a battle. But it's going to be really important. And it's going to be tied to the space. People got pointed out the garden up the street. So the whole idea is to connect the food as well and the people. And part of what Uhuru Foods is going to be doing is also going to be getting out and doing booths at festivals. We already know that Uhuru Foods is going to be at Earth Day at the end of April and at the Pride Festival at Tower Grove at the end of September. And that's part about getting out also and winning support, because the idea that President Ozane had was start here and then raise the money to build the big kitchen, which will be a production kitchen with the capacity for training, whole cohorts of people, shipping pies, having outdoor event space. The chairman has this vision that it's going to have a rooftop restaurant. No, the roof is going to be engineered to do that when it's possible. So I just really want to appreciate having the opportunity to work in this. And yeah, and when this building was bought 14 months ago, we're like, okay, we'll be open by June. Latest, And then just also salute Deputy Chair for building the different relationships that we talked about with the other program. Because as soon as the permits are here, there's people ready to do the plumbing, do the framing, the roof, do the concrete. This floor is going to be leveled out, but also made accessible for a wheelchair to come in and use the ADA bathroom and eat here. So there's chairs outside. And it's going to serve the people. Need to hire a cook from this community, or 2 or 3. And like Sally said, people will be able to sit here, have a cup of coffee and go, oh, that's how they make the pies. And that's the thing. People want a relationship, not just to their food, but to the people that make it and sell their food. So just want to appreciate the party.
And also what we want to do is we want to get a food truck.
Oh, yeah.
So we want to have in conjunction with having this restaurant, we want to have a food truck so we can go to different areas of the community, because we want the South Side people to come here, but we want to also go there as well, to build economic power in our own hands. So I'm looking forward to this transformation. Like Maureen said, once we get the permit in hand, we're looking at anywhere from 2 to 3 months, we should be up and running. So, next year at the USM Convention, we're going to eat right here. So we're very, very excited about this project.
Yeah. I just want to say also too that we want Uhuru Bakery Cafe to be a hub in the community, not just some takeout joint where you got a wall in front of the people and you have no real vested interest in the community except to just take money out. As chairman's always said, capital extraction. We want to keep resources here on the north side. So it's important that, we have support, keep this place going, get this place built up, because I want to be able to come here and eat, have a coffee, and the community deserves that. The community deserves the best, and that's what's always the community deserves the best. And this is what we got. And then wait till we get the big Chico going.
I just wanted to add one other thing. In 1987, the Uhuru movement opened a bakery in Oakland, California, and it was so popular, and it was attacked as well. There were fires in the building that burnt it down, but it was so popular. And the chairman was telling me the other day how good the coffee was there, and the buckwheat pancakes and the bread and everything. And I just want to say Allison Haney was the manager there.
Yes, she was.
And Chairwoman Penny worked there as well. And so I just want to salute both of you as well. This bakery is based off of that.
Yeah, the community, just develop a dynamic community the way it's supposed to be. we want to remind people of the significance of St. Louis culturally, certainly to Black people, to everybody. Meet me in St. Louis, Louis. I mean, the thing is just profound. I mean, everybody from Chuck Berry to, you know, Miles Davis to, but you know, you name it, it was, I mean, St. Louis is just has all of that. And they've made this huge war against the community here, and convinced a sector of the community to engage in tremendous kind of self-hatred and what have you. But we calling on the community to participate in changing that, and this is one of the most important things. One of the most important things is one of the most important because it's in addition to the other stuff we've been doing, and this is the kind of stuff that's frightened, you know, the rulers of this area. And when we talked about the people who even fought us to keep this from happening, the so-called neighborhood association, many of them are realtors, and they own a lot of property here, several properties, and they intend to get rich off of the NGA themselves. So we are a problem. You know, serving the community works against their interests in terms of getting rid of the community so that they can make a lot of money from the NGA. That's just the practical political reality and economic reality that we have to contend with. It's a major work, and I can't say too much about that. And I'm hoping that, among other things, that we enforce everybody's understanding that we're talking about practical transformation now. This is somebody said it before, somebody knows who said it before, that philosophers have explained the world in certain ways. But the point is to change the world. And people, people have good conversations. You know, my uncle used to say that a conversation is the cheapest commodity on the block. Yep. Everybody's got one. But the thing is to change the world and to facilitate the ability of the people to engage in change in the world. This is where human transformation occurs, in the process of production, changing the world, being in charge of that. That's what this is about. And I wanted to also say, you know, I have had problems. I can't buy clothing for women easily because I have to see it on the woman to somebody to see what it looks like. I have to see it on somebody. And that's one of the things about Deputy Chair Owners and Should tell her that I appreciate so much. She don't have to see it on you. You understand? She sees it and she can see a vision beyond what it is that she's looking at. So somebody comes to the old Uhuru house and people say, we told them what we're going to do this year. They couldn't believe it. And then they come back and see the transformation that's occurred. And the Deputy Chair is an artist of that sort, even though it is true that, can I tell?
I don't know.
Even though it's true, she won't put the top on her jaw tight enough and doesn't care where the bowls go as opposed to the other. I can't believe it. This woman's such an artist, except for that kind of stuff going. Anyway, yeah, I'm just really glad. And these incredible comrades, you know, the role that you are playing in this, and it's real. And was it, who was it? The comrade, was it Blaze? When I made the comment about people pedigree. And my hope was that he would understand that he is a part of this movement now. He might not have been there with Lenin as Janice's grandfather, but he's here now with Amali Chattel. You understand? And he's here now with all of us who are changing the world, changing history, etc. This is the point. This is a point that I was making. You know, that we're in the process of making history now. History didn't stop, you know, with Lenin or with the Russian Revolution. History didn't start with Lenin or the Russian Revolution. And so we have an opportunity, an obligation to participate in making the history ourselves. So this is part of an opportunity to do that.
Anything else?
It's not all us.
Can you want to say anything about the bakery in Oakland?
In Oakland?
Or
Oh, well, I mean, well, first of all, this is gonna be this whole day, let me just say, and this whole conference has been so powerful. And to go on this tour is, it's just, there's no words for it because it is so powerful to see. And to see the transformation that is coming about right before our eyes. I think Redbeard was saying that the last time he was here, I don't know if he's still here, versus now, every time he comes, it's transformed just even on that level. And to see, I know, you know, the other bakery over in the big bakery
Yes.
is really incredible. And all of the whole development, I just really want to salute the office, the deputy chair's vision, chairman, as you've said, and you know what it means for you know this real dual power of African people being created right here. So I just salute it. It's an honor to be here, an honor to be under the leadership of this great movement, and you know, and I just really just put all of you forward who have been here, here this weekend, and all the work that's been put out. I know we're not summing up in that way yet, but I just really want to salute this bakery and know that, you know, when somebody says, I think what Mark Anderson was talking about, how this alone will attract so many other businesses and make it, you know, we will see a transformation in that way as well. So just salute to the office of the deputy chair, chairman, the African People's Socialist Party. We are winning.
Wasn't it Penny who made that incredible veggie burger? Yeah. And the other people from other vegan restaurants, they come and hang around because they want to steal the recipe. It was funny, yeah. But it was an incredible restaurant that we had there. The first bakery cafe, Uhuru Bakery Cafe, and in that instance, talk about political and how the politics works. On the day the United States government, we used to have events there. I mean, people would come, Danny Glover and Huey Newton and all the people, they would come there. And we'd have events there. And we had, when the US government invaded Panama, we brought out signs and what have you, put them on the floor there. And then we had a march from there to the US Marine, I think it was, recruitment station.
That's right.
And that we did that day, that night, a mysterious fire hit the bakery. And so when we come back and we say, wow, it's bad, but we can be open in a week. And that was that night. And then later that night, early in the morning, it torched it again. It burned again. So it stayed vacant. That spot stayed vacant for I don't know how many years. Nobody occupied that, but we did the same thing there. It was a rugged piece of terrain. And then we changed it, and people started setting up their own businesses, changing stuff, and that's what we're doing here. That's where we come. We come to the most oppressed, economically depressed sectors of the population, and we change it and bring people into the process, and things get transformed. So, anyway,
We did see that.
We did that.
See that, and it was amazing in Oakland. It was so powerful, and I remember that the video place opened right next to us, and then it became this whole thing, and people, you know, and then just more and more businesses opened up.
I just really want to thank everybody for coming out. Please stay tuned because every phase of this building is going to be a video. We're going to go live, so you'll know what's going on every single day that we're here. When the roof goes on, we'll be live. When the floor get done, we'll be live. Everything will be live. So please stay tuned so you can actually see where your money is going. You know, like most corporations, you can't see where your money went, but here you'll be able to see every cent because we take pride in every piece of resources that is given to us from our donors and from our supporters. So we just really want to thank everybody for coming out.
Stephanie was about to say something.
Uhuru, Stephanie.
Can I say something about AIWP really?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because the vision for the African Independence Workforce Program is so profound. And as we're standing here, and Sayali mentioned AIWP will be in this institution, but the party built ANPO, the African National Prison Organization, in the late 70s, and Mafundi Lake was the first leader of ANPO. So the party has this deeply rooted history of fighting for the comrades locked up in the prison system. And there's 1 in 3 African men are locked up in the prison system in their lifetime in the US, versus like 1 in 17 white people, 1 in 18 African women versus 1 in 113 white women. And since the 1990s, there's been an increase in the incarceration rate of African women by 858% for what they call crimes of survival, which is like property, like theft and stuff like that, trying to feed their families and survive. So, the African Independence Workforce Program is this vision by Deputy Chair since 2015 to not just provide housing, but to, provide African people with the opportunity to get this job training and work experience in the institutions of the Black Power Blueprint. There's reentry programs throughout St. Louis. And they want the people because these factories want the labor. They want the cheap labor. So people can come out of prison, get a little cell of a transitional housing and get put into these big factories for work experience. The AIWP is not that. Right. It's the best for the African working class and to show people that their labor can produce for the African community and produce a future for their families, for the whole community. That's why the tagline is our labor, our future. And so people will work here, they'll work at the garden, they'll work at every institution that we've seen. And I just feel like it's such a profound vision that ties everything together. Like Deputy Chair always says, the people are the central question and the ability to produce and reproduce life. It's so central. So I just wanted to say that this has been so inspiring.
So, this is the thing that anybody who is genuinely interested in changing the world and they say they hate the conditions and they hate what's going on, many of them are people who just love protesting, and there is a lot of adrenaline rush that you can get in a protest, you understand? But in many instances, we won't be protesting. Our work is our protest. And the thing is changing the damn world. So to be able to rail at things because you don't like the way they are, that's one thing. But to change it, to change the world. And anybody who's honestly interested in doing that, they have an opportunity. They can step forward. It's not an abstract issue of whether or not you're going to get it or not. Like much of the struggle we're involved in is an abstract issue, socialism, abstract issue. Will we make it happen? And, like Bernie Sanders, that the presumption of you can have socialism by wishing it into existence, the presumption that you can have socialism and capitalism coexisting in the same social space. That's not possible. And even the people who call themselves Marxists and whatever, don't make that assumption. You don't do that. It doesn't happen like that. And I also want to say, one of the things that makes it confusing for some people where we're concerned, doing the work that we do here, is that we don't call ourselves a part of the left, the black left. We're not leftists. We're not leftists. We are anti-colonialists. We're not a part of a system. We're not some loyal opposition inside the system. Our objective is to move ourselves from under the authority of the system by the power of the people. Anyway, Uhuru.
We'll meet everybody back at your her house. Back at your her house.
Oh, I don't know, I'm really nervous.
Are you really nervous? Yeah. I felt it. Oh, from where to St. Pete? Oh,
To be fair, you spent 4 hours. 4 hours on the hair. 4 hours. Just to do outreach with us.
Not behind you, but.
You wanna have a sign that?
Yeah.
It's here. Yeah.
Wait, the
Uhuru! This has been a powerful 2 days. I just, wow, do you feel optimism? Do you feel that what it means to be on the winning side? That we just have had everything we need to go out and do the work and build Uhuru Solidarity Movement in 130 cities and with 1,000 members this year. I feel very equipped to take it on, and I want to salute Chairman O'Malley Shatella, Deputy Chair Ona Zanea Shatella, and thank you for that tour. That was, that was so powerful to see and know that this is the only place in the world right now where a project like this is happening, where African people are taking power, the power to govern. And this is, the chairman always uses the term, which I always think is very, very moving, but he always says that he was fortunate to have been born when revolution was the main trend in the world. And he was talking about anti-colonial revolutions that were going on in the 50s, the 60s, and this is part of that. This is continuing that. This is the struggle of the African working class concretely taking power, African workers' power, in their own hands, creating the territory, creating the basis for the struggle that is connected to and part and parcel of the indigenous people's struggle for the recapture of their stolen land and for Africa to be liberated and the colonial system to be, kick the ass of the ruling class, end the colonialism once and for all, not just about a protest, answering the question to what end, and answering the question for the first time in history, how can white people take a principled stand? How can we make our self-criticism? How can we pay our reparations? How can we be part in creating a world without the oppressors and the oppressed, and a world in which all human beings can live, no one at the expense of anyone else? And that's what we saw today being absolutely built. So I, again, want to thank Chairman O'Malley Shatella, Deputy Chair Ona Zanea Shatella, the African People's Socialist Party, the Uhuru movement, and all of you comrades for being here and being part of this powerful, powerful movement. Uhuru, we are winning. I also I do want to say, and the convention was very powerful, Comrade Jesse, and all of the leading members of the Uhuru Solidarity movement. You did great work and great job on building it, the program, all aspects of it were really great. So, Uhuru.
Uhuru. Thank you, Chairwoman Penny. I just want to unite with Chairwoman Penny's summation of this historic weekend. And it's possible that I say this every year, but this was the best USM National Convention ever. Yes, we should say that every year, as it should be. And it was because of just the ongoing relentless leadership and struggle of the African People's Socialist Party, the leadership of Chairman O'Malley Shatella, Deputy Chair Ona Zanea Shatella, the African working class, which is unstoppable. And we know that because, again, this is the convention the US government did not want the chairman and Chairwoman Penny and myself to make it to. So take that, we're here. And in addition to that, it was our best convention because of all of you. Each and every one of you, and the contributions that you made, the enthusiasm and excitement that was just exuding from this room and from online throughout this convention was so powerful and so infectious. We have a lot of work to do. I'm really excited. Yes, I feel incredibly optimistic. And I want to just profoundly salute Chairwoman Penny Hess, the chairwoman of APSC, the stand that Chairwoman Penny has taken for 50 years. And in the 15 years of that I've had the honor and the joy to know Chairwoman Penny and to work under her leadership, what I've learned about how to live a life in true solidarity with the African and oppressed peoples of the world and put that into practice day in and day out is immeasurable and continues to be the case every single day. So just want to express my salute to Chairwoman Penny, as well as all of the veterans of the African People's Solidarity Committee, many of which we got to hear from today. Secretary General Allison Haney, Uhuru Secretary General. Comrade ORED Director Maureen Wagner, Uhuru. Comrade Ruby Gittleson, Uhuru. Comrade Janine Griswold here with us. Stephanie Midler. And Janice Cant, who's not in the room. And Comrade Kitty Riley. And yes, again, I want to mention Janice Cant, who's been participating online, but just salute incredible leadership of Comrade Janice and just how important. Yes, oh my goodness, right in front of me. Thank you. Please help me because I'm going to be doing that a lot right now. Lisa Watson. Yes. Lisa, absolutely, really salute. Comrade Raya Fogarty. Yes, Uhuru. Well, yes, and I also want to salute all of the comrades in the incredible convention coordinating committee this year. You did an amazing job, starting with our project director, Comrade Leah Fifield. Uhuru. And I really mean this. There were so many times. Sometimes it was like late at night. I would send a typo-ridden email to Leah like, are we registering all the people from Event B on Zoom or something? I would come to my mind at like the middle of the night. And in every single case, she's like, yep, been doing that the whole time and on top of it. Yep, every single thing. So she's really on it. She's done an amazing job, and just salute Comrade Leah. And I also want to, this is going to take a minute, so let me try to do this. And I don't have it in front of me, so I'm going to need help with this. But I want to salute our logistics coordinator, James Anila. And also Comrade Hallie Murray, who played a key role in the logistics team. The coordinator of food, Comrade Andy. And the food was great. And thank you to Tumpe, The Vine, and Lana's Lil Eats for the catering for this weekend. And also want to salute Raphael, our AV coordinator over here. And all the comrades on AV, Lisa Watson, Frank over here, and everybody else that played a role. James R. Oh yeah, he was on camera for much of yesterday and just played a role in a lot of things. Really salute you, Comrade James. And I also want to salute our MCs, Mads, Indigo, Jamie, and Sarah. And Kara. And I want to salute Kara Locke, our Reparations Legacy Coordinator. KC in the sound booth back there. KC. And I want to salute Comrade Blaze, both Blazes, Blaze out of San Diego and Blaze from Florida, who joined us here today. Uhuru. And also want to salute Len Demmer, our membership coordinator. And I want to salute Jacoya, Uhuru Jacoya. It was so wonderful to have you here, and we are really excited to work with you on the Reparations Legacy Project, the Reparations Investment Company, and to have you be a part of that is going to be incredible. So Uhuru Jacoya, Uhuru. Okay, I'm definitely leaving people out. The security team. Okay, Brendan, our security coordinator. And everybody who played a role on security, it was a great job. Comrade Dylan is on security right now, so he can't clap, but Uhuru to Comrade Dylan.
Two new members, was it on two? What is your right? Two new members of APSC.
Right on, right on.
And Indigo, really want to welcome you, comrades. I don't, where's Indigo? I see Dylan. Oh, Indigo, there you go. Yes, really want to welcome you to APSC. Really appreciate all you bring to this movement and your leadership and just how you took on Columbus, Ohio, you know, and everything that you've built there that represents genuine solidarity with African liberation and very soon. So we have some big work to do. We're going to have a lot of meetings about what the actual work that we have to do. We need a whole series of meetings. We need to make the thing that Jesse laid out this morning for the Reparations Legacy Committee, I guess. Say what is the name?
Reparations Investment Company.
Okay, so that's going to be the name of that organization. Yeah. Okay, great. So we've got to lay it out. We've got to make it happen, and get to work and make that house a beautiful, beautiful place, or however, whatever we're going to determine. There's a number of options that Deputy Chair has told us about, so we have to come to that. And, just a lot of work that we have to be doing.
Yes.
And it's very exciting, so I can't wait to jump in and really get started. Something else. Go ahead.
Okay, and I also, just to finish my salutes, I'm going to leave people out, but I just want to appreciate TT, who joined us from Portland, Maine. It was really great to have you here. And also, I want to salute Ruth from Fayetteville, Arkansas, for being with us. And our regional coordinators, Comrade Wendy Snyder and Jamie Simpson from the Western region and the Southern region. And I want to salute our Vice Chair, Amanda Carlozzi. Uhuru. And I want to salute, coming here, joining us from Tacoma, Janet Van Fleet and Peter Roderick. Uhuru. And I want to salute Angelica, right in the back there, joining us here in St. Louis, and everybody. I'm leaving people out. Redbeard, all of you.
I just want to say,
yes,
it wouldn't be the Uhuru movement without Redbeard.
Yes.
I just have to say that the Uhuru Solidarity Movement.
Yes.
Anyway.
We lost without the movement.
Yes. Uhuru.
Uhuru. And I want to salute Comrade Jan, just an amazing member of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. Uhuru. And John McCarthy. Uhuru, John. All right, so I'm going to step away now, I think.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Who did we miss?
There's a few people, so just
okay.
start from the beginning and go down. There's James.
We got James.
Frank.
We got Frank. Sarah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think. Casey Mill. Comrade Casey Mill. Virginia Wilson. Uhuru, Virginia. Yes. Johan Bedingfield. Comrade Johan.
Brendan.
Becky Camo. Uhuru, Becky. Paul Kessler, who played a role in our behind the scenes process called No Comrade Left Behind, where anybody that was having issues getting on Zoom, he was calling them up and helping them figure it out, tech support, so they could join the convention.
Wait. I have to say something really important about Comrade Paul Kessler, because I mentioned Ron Stade and Pete Yarchek and how they went into the Uhuru House. They were assigned to go to the Uhuru House in Florida and renovate it with no resources, and they just made it happen brilliantly. But Paul Kessler I think he renovated the building for the Uhuru Bakery in 1989. I saw him at one of the houses that the party was renovating back in the day in Philadelphia. He was working on that renovation. He's been here, so Paul Kessler's got to be here.
Oh, absolutely.
Paul Kessler's got to be here. He's done a lot in, renovating and helping to make buildings be really powerful. So, yeah.
Uhuru. I also want to appreciate Peg Keefe in St. Petersburg, Florida. Amazing comrade.
Oh, wow.
And here in the room, also want to salute Charles, who's been with us all weekend. Uhuru Charles. And also thank Comrade Seali, Uhuru Foods and Pies. Carol in the back there, Uhuru Carol. And it was an honor, such an honor to have Afia Nwangaza
Yes.
and also joining us online, President Yejide Orimila.
Okay, yes, absolutely.
So,
And
so
did
there's
you
nothing
say
else?
Andy?
Yes, yes. But we'll say them again. And Sandy, Uhuru Sandy, yes. And we'll say again, Andy and Raphael and all of you comrades, great job. Unity through reparations. And now we'll turn it over to Chairman Omali Yeshitela.
Uhuru, I'm not going to fall into the trap that Jesse just stepped into a moment ago. I'm not going to try and name the people who we appreciate, and that's despite the fact that there's so many people here I've worked many years with, and you know, I think that this is the kind of movement, the stuff that we've done really helps us to define what love is. I mean that in the deepest, most profound way. People use that real casually, I love you, and et cetera, et cetera. But this is deep, really critical kinds of relationships that we have to change the world and make the world a place that we can live in. Sometimes we've done this despite how our family members and sometimes siblings and children may have perceived what it was about, not having the ability to know that the love that we were practicing was a love that was for them as well. So it's been a profound relationship historically. I am forced to state, as we have all along during this process, the significance of the deputy chair, Owners in Yeshitela. It's not that we just started doing economic development work when Ona came into the party. The fact is, before that, we always believe in self-determination and self-reliance, and we actually had members of the organization. We lived in collectives, and one person might go out and work for the white man, and the others of us were left to be able to do the work, the political work, in the streets, in the communities, and things like that. We've had situations where we would go out in groups in the orange groves in Florida, and to raise money, we would pick oranges and things like that. We would do dinners, mass sales of dinners in the community, things to create resources that made it unnecessary for us to turn to the state and other entities like that to get the resources we needed to do the work. So we've always done that. And but a thing is that Comrade Deputy Chair came into the work, and she took the economic development work to a new level. We've had various principles that we always utilized. That always guided our work, but she took it and took it someplace else. She took it beyond what many of us had ever conceived to be possible. When much of the economic development work fell into the hands of the solidarity forces by virtue of the fact that we built this relationship that related to reparations and things like that, and a lot of the resources were raised through institutions that was created by people in the solidarity movement, and they were great institutions. And what happened? Excuse me. But this work ran into its limitations, and you heard us talk about the Uhuru Bakery and Cafe in Oakland, which was more than I think we have actually been able to convey in terms of its significance, but it was powerful. We did that work, and Comrade Ruby started us in a flea market in Berkeley, California, where we were selling stuff. She took it and turn it into what became the furniture stores. Started right there in Berkeley Flea Market. And a big and profound difference that our community lives in such a state of desperation most of the time. It's true. I mean, just a state of desperation. That's what most African people live with. I'm talking about ordinary people. I'm not talking about Kamala and you know, some of the other people who've been given this artificial kind of significance. But it's desperation all the time. We win people to participate in the revolutionary project. It's not just when the guns start or when they come to put you under arrest because you've engaged in a political act. But the fact is just colonialism itself constantly challenges the ability of African people. And but we've done that work up to now. And one of the things that's very important to us was the work we did to build the solidarity movement. And what it was that we had to contend with even to make that happen. Because we had to go against the history of the white left and how whites have intervened in our movement and wreaked havoc in our movement. And against the struggle, we had to deal with the consequences of the principles that were developed in the movement as a consequence of that. I mean, how SNCC had to ask the white people in SNCC to leave and go to the white community. And the consequences of that was not what SNCC wanted, but it couldn't have been. You just can't say go to the white community and work, because the fact is that white people are motivated by different kinds of contradictions. They're not necessarily motivated by the severity of the contradictions that Palestinians, that African people and others are motivated by. So a solution too often and the contradictions too often that would involve the white people who were considered leftists, they would discover Vietnam, because Vietnam, the Vietnamese were providing such profound political education to people in this country. If you bring your asses here trying to maintain colonial domination, we will send you back in a body bag. And this increasingly was what was happening. And so you had parents and children and you talk about a political education, you saw almost the white male population in this country almost emptied out to Canada. So they wouldn't have to be drafted into the U.S. war and be sent to Vietnam. This was part of what it is that was happening here. And it was a problem because people wanted to save their lives and people didn't want to die. And so Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam is going to win, became a kind of slogan that motivated or certainly exemplified the opposition of a lot of the people who became white leftists to the war. But the thing is that just in terms of maintaining unity with the struggle of African people in this country, that was the problem that we were dealing with all the time. When we created the African People's Solidarity Committee, we ran into, again, the history that African people and the African movement in general had with the white left. And there was a tremendous suspicions of this relationship by Africans about us and the white people. And the white people are probably running everything, and the white people this and the white people that, because that's how it was all subjective determinations about what relationships were about. So that was an aspect of it. But the critical thing that I was just going to mention is that the white left and how it responded to the creation of the African People's Solidarity Committee, and how the feminist movement strongly came out in opposition, saying that somehow that APSC was white lesbians working under the leadership of black men. These were progressive white women who were making this kind of line. And then we had one of the most radical left movement, communist movement. In this instance, well, I'm not going to, but come out and say things like that it won't work because white people will not work against their own interests. And that was based on the fact that we were saying that the white people who came into the movement would be working under the leadership of the African working class. And somehow these communists concluded that white people working under the leadership of the African working class was working against your own interests. This is kind of garbage that and by the way, I just want to say that during the era of the trials that we've just come through, and during while we were in court and while we were having rallies in St. Petersburg, Florida, it's worth noting that one of the proponents of that line, that statement, that position, joined Hands Off Uhuru, and I think made a $500 contribution the last time I had looked. So, but that was the stance then, and I'm saying that I guess as a prelude to saying, look at us now.
Yeah.
And the fact is that we were the outliers. We were the strange ones, this relationship that we have. We were the weirdos, etc. And we built a powerful movement, and perhaps the most significant movement that you can find in this country, and one of the most significant movements you will find in the world. And that's the significance of what we're doing now, solidarity with Black Power. Because solidarity with Black Power has come to mean more than what they were distorted as meaning in terms of white lesbians working under the leadership of black men, Jesse. And we're talking about having contributed to the education of really critical forces in terms of being able to recognize the most legitimate reality in the world is that if we're going to get rid of a social system that everybody hates, that's destroying the globe, destroying the wealth of the peoples of the earth, etc. And if we're looking at the reality that we're talking about colonialism as the mode of production that's feeding, clothing everybody who has food and clothing and what have you, it makes sense. How could it have made sense for Marxists to say that everybody has the revolution has to be led by the working class on the one hand, and you didn't hear the left saying, no, how can we do that? You know, I got a job, in some other area of the structure of the society. Didn't say that. But working under the leadership of the black working class, that was problematic. I just want to say that, again, we are not part of that left, and we're not asking you to be a part of that left. Because generally speaking, what you're talking about when you're talking about the left is a sort of loyal opposition. And what we're about is not trying to find a way to integrate into this system as the left or the right or anything. We don't give a damn about a left or a right. Our objective is to remove ourselves from the authority of an illegitimate, hostile entity that has taken over the world. And it defines and redefines left and right almost every 20 years or so. What was left yesterday is no longer the left. What was left before Trump got elected is no longer the left. What was anti-war was no longer anti-war. I mean, they switch heads, switch positions just like that, and we're not going to be locked into that. And I want to say that your presence here validates everything. So much of what we fought for all these years gives it a concrete face. It's a concrete reality today. We've changed the world. And part of changing the world is what we do and what we have done now. And your existence here is incredibly significant, incredibly powerful, and I just wanted to recognize that. It's a long way to get to that statement, but that's essentially what I wanted to say, that we have changed the world, and you are part of that changed world. And we have created a venue for people who want to be opposed to how this system works, to not find themselves having to be whiplashed politically from the Democrats to the Republicans to the Greens to the this to that, etc. We can be united against colonialism. We can have a general program against colonialism. That's what is the defining thing, and we can say that this is what we have created with this extraordinary group of forces, and that the world has been changed. And thank you so much for being a part of Black solidarity with Black Power. Uhuru.
Uhuru. White solidarity with Black Power. Awesome. Thank you so much, comrades, for a magnificent convention, and thank you for those closing remarks, Chairman, Chairwoman Penny, and Chair Jesse. We just have a few announcements coming up. So this Thursday, March 20th, at 6 p.m. CT, we will have our very first, I believe, no? Yeah. Okay. To be determined. Saturday, March 29th at 6:30 CT, we'll have Liberation Lives, Community Awards and Fundraising Gala, put on by ANWO. You can register at anwo.wildapricot.org/event -601-2133. Wednesday, April 2nd, 6:30 CT, USM monthly mass meeting. It will be on how to build the Reparations Legacy Project, and you can register at tinyurl.com/AprilReparations. Okay. March 26th, this upcoming Wednesday, at 6:30 p.m. CT, APSC has a webinar on violence against women, colonialism, and the Desi Woods Fight Back. You can register for that at apscuhuru.org/register. Wednesday, April 2nd, 6:30 CT. I mentioned that already. Saturday, April 5th, 2 p.m. CT. Hands Off Uhuru, Hands Off Africa webinar. This is what they have done to crush the African movement, which you can register at handsoffahuru.org/events. I think this is the last one. Saturday, March 22nd, the Black Power Blueprint will have an event on supporting the economic self-determination projects of the Black Power Blueprint, especially baking and gardening. And there will be community outreach. That'll be here at the Uhuru House at 1 p.m. Saturday, March 22nd, which you can sign up for at blackpowerblueprint.org/volunteer. Okay.
All right. It's my honor to close out the USM Uhuru Solidarity Movement National Convention 2025. White solidarity with Black Power. Uhuru!